right, everybody. Red Leaf Retrocast. Let's see, March 4th, so a few days late. Probably release this tomorrow. I wanted to get this out before Revolution from AEW, but alas, here we are. And I will begin with saying I got that snowboard itch bad. Been a couple more times over the last few weeks. And bowled another 300. Almost bowled another 800 series. Won some money. So that's good. Golf is starting up again, or at least during this coming weekend. So that's honestly why this podcast episode is a few days later. And a lot of things are going well. Things are going well sports-wise. Already broke 100 on the year, so hooray for me. So the beginner, I don't know. Maybe it's too early to say the beginner phase is over. It's definitely still there. For some reason, still struggle with struggle with 3-foot putts and like the confidence factor in golf. I definitely don't have the same confidence as I do with bowling. But hey, 226 average this season's going strong. Got a 220 in one of the leagues. So some are higher or lower. That's why they call it an average. But yeah, very exciting. And then the LPGA season, Joshi Golf, is back underway. Look, Patty Tavatanakit, back-to-back wins there. We had Nelly Cordo winning earlier in the year, Lydia Ko. We just need Minji Lee back and Brooke Henderson up at the top instead of her constant top 10 finishes. I want to see her compete. Damn it. But the LPGA is it started off well between the first major, the HBC that just happened. Really enjoying Patty Tavatanakit, watching her, and Celine Boutier has become a heavy favorite of mine. Ever since that run she had last year, she's on the radar each and every time. And if you guys want to follow along with some of the LPG action, honestly, that's the main reason why I still have the Peacock app. You can just watch everything on there except the final day, and then the various YouTube channels and everything really catch you up on the final days and, hey, whatever stream you want to find. But honestly, I've been going to, if wherever they're playing, if the time frame allows for it, and the golf channel, I go to kind of a local pub that I'm a member at. Hey, $20 a year, don't judge me. But they have all those channels, and I just go over there for an hour, have a pint, have a beer, and enjoy some LPGA action over there. So, keep your eye out on Patty. Say keep your eye out. She's already won 2. And I'm really looking forward to the next couple months here, for sure. I'm definitely kind of like done with bowling. I'm kind of losing that motivation now. But my motivation is more on the, if I do have any, it's more on the fact that I want to keep the 300 pace going. I'm 3 months in a row with a perfect game at minimum. The 800 series did end in February, unfortunately, so I had 4 months in a row on that, dating back to last November. No, October? Yeah, October. So, a lot of awards, a lot of sports. LPGA is running. What isn't running right now is essentially the Joshi scene. If I check out my match guide here, I mean, I've been kind of alluding to this, alluding. I say it quite a lot, but I mean, there just hasn't been a lot of action in this scene since the first week of January. Stardom had Supreme Fight, but everything's been overshadowed by the departure of Rossy Ogawa and the expectation of his own promotion coming up. And that got me thinking more along the lines of playing the waiting game with what's going to happen with Stardom after the end of March here and their big show. And all we really have to go by is speculation and who's on shows and where. So the biggest news we're following right now is who's announced for these shows in America, like Mina Shirakawa, Azumi and the like, going to Windy City Riot. And then the Spark Joshi show, I guess, just made a call and it's like, hey, can we book these wrestlers. It's hilarious to me they're calling it the Philly area, and it's like hours away from Philly. It's in New Jersey. It's a completely different state. I'm like, I don't know about an area. That's like the greater Houston area, where I grew up, and my friend has a house, and it's like 45 minutes without traffic on a good day, away from where my parents live, or my mom in particular. But I digress. So we have our speculations there. We know Julia's on her way out. That's a big factor. Where I'm getting a lot less worried is the fact that it seems a lot of these contracts, for the time being, run through March for X amount of months, and people have re-signed, and it's more or less the people I expected, like a Micah. I don't know if she re-signed, but she's the champion. Micah, Tam, Mina, like these types of people are clear-cut with the promotion for the time being, right? And that's good for Stardom. And honestly, the booking on a lot of these house shows has been solid. I think it's with confidence I can say that just without the power struggle going on between Ogawa, the booker, and we'll call him top management, the fact that that struggle is missing now has created at least a sense of stability in the booking and going back to basics, where we're putting people in matches against each other to build up future matches. Very competent, very easy stuff. So in that sense, the Stardom house shows have been more enjoyable, very simple to watch. We got, here, the Cork and Hall. I wasn't a big fan of the Valentine's Day Cork and Hall show, but look, we got a pretty solid elimination match with Micah, Mina, Waka, and Xena, and Hanako, of all people, defeating, well, no, that makes sense, with the Not Nexus, because I've seen that joke. It pops me, but anyways. They defeated Hazuki, Saida, Hanan, Mayu, Tani, Yuzuki. So, Stardom has the roster where they can handle a small exodus of certain talent, just for the sake of the discussion. Let's say it's 4 people that leave. We know Julia's leaving, so let's throw her off to the side. Okay? Well, no, let's include her. Let's say it's Julia, Mirai, Utami, and I don't know, Ami Sourei. Let's say it's these 4 people, right? And then you have a host of an independent scene to kind of pick and choose from, and hopefully you can sign a few of those, and then mission mash with rookies and whatnot to fill out the undercards. For the time being, it's gonna be slow going, and I think we all expected that. But if that's the case, I mean, look, Risa Sera, Mayuki, they're all available. Like, there's talent there to be signed, and that's where I'm standing here. It's like, okay, we can have an exodus with Stardom to an X degree where the promotion's not significantly hurt. Where I stand is we need to then fill the rosters appropriately with what's available. And there are people available. Nagisa Nozaki left Wave. I think she could be a big factor towards, let's say, Ogawa Promotions in the future. Or filling in the gaps that, say, Utami left behind. Are they apples to apples? No, but you get the idea. I mean, you gotta rebuild the team, so to say. Now, where I don't agree with a lot of kind of this loose discussion going around is that we're not in a current dark age. I think we've definitely entered that, and we've been in it for... I think the official line crossing was the departure of Rossy Ogawa and how it's going to impact the scene. Could it be for the better? It could be. Does it more lean towards a little worry and worse? Yeah, especially when you have people like Nanai and Ayaka Hamada kind of roaming around in the shadows. That doesn't quite bode well for truly starting up something that's going to make a mark. Because I'm going to put out this State of Joshi that I did the last couple years over on the Patreon, patreon.com/redleafretrocast, Jaguar Nagayo tier, that the state of the Joshi scene is not in a healthy place in any capacity. It's Stardom and whatever TJPW can pump out. And that's on a quarterly basis because of how they operate and what they do. And I'll get to TJPW in a second here because we're approaching Grand Princess and I am not bullish on that show. So, where Stardom went right, I think, is this Mike Amina group. The Corkin that happened. How many did they draw for that show? Let's see here. I have the stats. I know they didn't do particularly well. Yeah, just under 1,000 for the latest one. Headlined by Julia and Natsuko Tora in the Strong Women's No DQ match. And I went 2 out of 3. It was certainly better than their debacle that was their white belt match from years ago. Pile driver through the table, Julia special. It was fine for... It honestly, it exceeded my expectations. I was really expecting a dumpster fire whenever Natsuko Tora is in a main event, especially in a singles match capacity. The real star of the show was the Hanan Saida defeating Chan Yota and Mai Sakurai New Blood tag titles match of all things. Was not expecting Ida and Chan Yota to just go full fire and ice, Scott Norton style, all up in here. That was exciting. I do recommend that. I went 3 3/4. Let me confirm. Yeah, I went 3 3/4, so 2 out of 3. As much as I enjoyed it, I couldn't go and say it's like a high-level match by any means, but you gotta watch that. That's one of the better Joshi matches that's happened this year. So that went down, and then there was Mirai defeating Rana Yagami, Utami, Lady C. You get the idea. And then I watched the Shibuya house show, and I really enjoyed the Julia Suzu against Hazuki Kogama match. I went, what'd I go, 2 out of 3 on that? 1 out of 3? Oh, I never rated it. Okay, cool. So, we'll see what's happening with Stardom. Let's go on to TJPW, and, with the state of the scene now, I mean, you heard my intro music and the beats and all the theme songs. I think I'm going to change it I'm going to change it up again, because it's definitely due. Once we know who is where and where everyone is. But you listen to a lot of those songs, and you got Maki Ito, Yuka, Julia, Arisa Nakajima. You got a lot of those songs in there, and you realize, wow, Arisa's injured. She could retire like tomorrow and wouldn't question it. Julia's leaving the promotion. Yuka's in AEW in witness protection. Maki Ito's a GCW wrestler. Like, I gotta come up with some themes of people that are actually active in the scene. and doing something positive. Otherwise, I could just go to, like, get Io Shirai's and Riho's and all these wrestlers' music and make it... Actually, that would be so bad. But anyway, you get the idea. So TJPW is gearing up for Grand Princess. We got Ryumi Zanami and Yuki Aino doing their thing. That looks to be a crash course for the Endo Suzume tag titles, unless they already announced something and I missed it. Very possible. I'm pretty bad at this, but in that sense, that's kind of the match I'd book. Actually, I know they booked Maki Ito, Minoru Suzuki to a baffling degree. But this Miyu Watanabe, Miyu Yamashita, TJPW, I tell you, they are so shit at building main events to drum up interest, and it's not just the fact that Miyu Yamashita's been announced to going on a 3-month excursion to the U.S., like the day after the big title match. And just for my own sanity, I'm like, well, TJPW, maybe they want to keep the title on her and then bring it to all those MLW and indie shows to drum up their international interest. I keep telling myself that, to at least give me a prayer of investment. But this is very much that same line of how critical I was of the Mizuki title win last year, where it was so painfully obvious Yuka, it was too late to put him over, and Yuka was on her way out, and I believe they announced it shortly after that she was leaving at the end of the year. And when you deplete the roster of main eventers after you put them over, and it doesn't feel like it's this tremendous bullet point stature, that you're left with that Mizuki run that we had last year, where it wasn't hot. There were no good matches outside of her winning and losing the title. What was supposed to be a big match with the Maki Ito summer match, she was absent throughout the whole build. And we're kind of doing that here with the Miyu Yamashita, Miyu Watanabe thing, and they're not even away from each other. There was a match I do recommend watching. It's from the Osaka show, which took place at the end of February. It was Endo, Suzume, and Watanabe against Yamashita, Mizunami, and Yuki Aino. And I gotta say, this Yuki Aino Mizunami thing is working. Yuki Aino, tag wrestler, is great Yuki Aino. And then the rest of the card is a total mess and low level. They've regressed. What used to be a company that looked like they were on the up and up from the in-ring standpoint, and they were starting to really develop. Now they've taken a step back because Yuka's gone, Ito's gone, all their special guests that constantly beat their own wrestlers, they're never there. You're left with now kind of doing what Stardom's doing on these house shows, where it's a lot of Utami versus Lady C type matches. And I mean, shit, there was this Miyu Yamashita Wakana Urihara match I was really excited for, and I watched that, and it was bad, guys. I mean, you want to talk about rookie and a veteran having two left feet? They were not on the same page, like at all, forever. But this trios match that ended in a 20-minute draw was something worth checking out, and that was the closest thing we're going to get to a build for this thing. Now, all the other matches on the card, what do we got? We got Yuki Arai defending the international title against God knows who. I mean, it's going to be their biggest show of the year, with probably the most attention in the Joshi scene until we know what happens with Stardom at the end of the Sumo Hall show. I think that's where they're going. Boy, I'm horrid on the information tonight. I gotta drink some water. But it sounds like I'm dogging on Stardom and TJPW, and I kind of am, because I am disappointed with how this year has started, and this is why I'm saying we're basically in a dark age here, because the third company that's doing the most interesting stuff right now is Pure J, and they're doing a tournament that's giving me like heart attacks with teasing Cherry is going to be in the final four of the tournament they're doing. Pure J Podcast Patreon, go check it out. So that's the third promotion I really keep up with, and the rest is play it by ear. But hey, they're not running. You know, Ice Ribbon is primarily out of their dojo these days. Same with half of Pure J shows, but at least they run twice a month. It's very easy to keep up with, guys. Do recommend it if you're into something very casual. Oz Academy, you got to pay for every single show, and Ozaki's the number one contender, so people pretend that Mio Momento match is going to be great. Well, there's a despair part of me that wants Ozaki to win just so I can say I told you so and look what happened. But I do feel like Mio Momento is going to win that match. I do feel like it. I just don't think it's going to be as good as people are going to pen it up to be. But look, these companies aren't running. I mean, we got Yuki Miyazaki as champion of Wave. We have Haruka Umasaki, champion of Diana, who like never defends it. I think she's defended it once in like 6 months. Sendai is a non-factor, even though they were announced to be on Wrestle Universe. And seemingly the thing most people are most excited about in the Joshi scene right now are the potential of Stardom wrestlers wrestling in America, and now all of a sudden they think Rossy Ogawa had the book again to deny wrestlers wrestling when the roster was wrestling 5 times a week, right? And people are up in arms about that. But now they're wrestling 5 times a week, but now 2 of those shows are in America. So what's the change? The schedule still seems to be there, and these wrestlers are still taking dates. Whether that's, what was it, Starlight Kid, or Ida going to Diana, or PPP Tokyo, or whatever it was, right? The wrestlers are still taking bookings because it makes them money, and they're young, and they think their bodies can keep up with it. I mean, we've all kind of been there with that attitude. Oh, yes, sir, I can work 16 hours, no problem. And then after like 3 weeks of it, you keel over on your bed and you go, oh, what happened? As for AJW, I don't have another episode this week. Very caught up in the world of Final Fantasies. Yes, multiple. And all the sports I've been doing. So I'll get back to that. It's kind of like a break period. But that's kind of the Joshi scene thing. Oh, and Natsupoi's coming back. They're really advertising her. The Sari Chihiro Hashimoto match against Natsupoi, and who's her partner? Well, whoever her partner is. Look, nice little match, but we see these things constantly throughout the scene, where bring in, let's say, Arisa Nakajima and Hanako Nakamori, right? Cool team. Sari Hashimoto, cool team. But you put them second from the top, maybe a main event on a Shinjuku face. People lose their mind over like a 3.5 star match. Who knows? Maybe they'll pull off a 4. But it's all vacuum stuff. And I'm personally tired of it. Why Stardom has taken off over the last number of years is because we have consistent booking of leading from point A to point B to point C. And yes, Natsupoi's return match being cool, and she's going to get thrown around and suplexed on her neck. Cool to come back from injury to do that. The bigger part of the issue I have is if this is the most exciting thing that's happening, we have a problem. It'd be more interesting if we actually ran angles and put in storylines of, I don't know, Natsupoi comes back and she's, I don't know, jealous or side-eyeing Sariano in her promos, but instead we got Tam whispering the Cosmic Angel things on house shows. It's a house show. That was just top of my head. Don't take that seriously, that comment. You get I hope you guys get the idea of what I'm talking about. It's like with TJPW. Maki Ito, Minoru Suzuki. Oh, what a neat, fun, wacky little match. Okay, what the hell are we doing with Maki Ito, GCW wrestler in TJPW? People complain about all the way back with Jungle Kiona not winning the big one when she couldn't get the job done in the paint. Meanwhile, Maki Ito, we're arguing about her winning the title over the last couple of years. She loses to Mizuki in the summer. Nobody bats an eye, right? That conversation ended at Wrestle Princess, and now it's like foregone, lost in thought. Did TJPW miss on Maki Ito? Well, okay. Conversation another day. But she's an example of TJPW just not knowing when to pull triggers. And I'm not buying Miyu Watanabe winning this title at Grand Princess as going to turn this company and scene around. All right. So you'll hear... Oh, man. You'll get AJW in time. You'll hear Rickee and I preview Revolution and talk about Hype, WCW at the end. We'll get Revolution on the next episode. And hopefully in about 10 or 11 days, we can put that episode out. Enjoy the show. Okay, Rickee. Time to talk some
Yeah,
wrestling. That was Sting's AEW theme. Thought it was very appropriate.
very appropriate. There's a lot of Sting talk this week.
Is that a top 10 AEW theme? Sting's one?
Yeah, probably.
I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
It's definitely up there.
All right. So what kind of shirt you wearing for the podcast today, and what are you drinking?
So I happen to be wearing my Adam Copeland shirt that came in my All Elite crate. Rated R Superstar, which I cannot believe WWE didn't fucking trademark before he left. And I am drinking a IPA from a local brewery that I picked up on Sunday. It is from Dry Dock Brewing in Aurora, Colorado. It's called Drift a While IPA, and it is 7% ABV.
All right. So I got,
What are you drinking?
underneath my Camelback Mountain sweater I've had for like 10 years that I only wear inside. I have a Drink It In Man Chris Jericho shirt. So
Nice.
had this for a while.
What are
as
you
well.
drinking in?
This evening I am double fisting cocktails. One is a Jungle Bird, which involves Campari, dark rum, and pineapple juice, and lime juice. And then
that sounds delicious, actually.
yes, it's from the 70s apparently, according to my book. And then the other one, in which will come later, is a classic pina colada with nice light rum.
Nice. Now, I am wearing a nice professional cardigan over my graphic tee today, which I figured out actually. So I work from home full time now in my new position. And I figure out this is how I can actually wear a wrestling shirt to work every day.
Hell yeah.
But this is like unassuming, right? It still looks pretty professional for a work from home attire, right?
I'd say so.
So I'm probably
Meanwhile, I'm still knee deep in chemicals all day. I was doing engineering trials on European steel. So that was fun. I will continue that tomorrow.
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, how much do you know about molybdenum into a stainless steel?
I probably know about as much about it as Sting knows about it.
Yeah. Before a month ago, I knew nothing, so it's all learning on the job. So this Jungle Bird is quite nice, actually.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm really into the Campari. I'm really liking it. It's a fucking phenomenal mix. Yeah, it's got the good man bitterness. You know what I mean? Because I'm a bitter man, and I need a bitter drink.
Yep. I get it.
All right. So AEW, Sting is retiring this weekend. Officially. And it's a long time coming. It's kind of the finality of the era. Many are saying. And
a long time coming, but I feel like it snuck up on us just the past 6 weeks or so. Just flew by. Or however long it's been since he made the announcement, I feel like it completely flew by.
Well, so I watched TNA for many number of years that I probably regret more and more each day. But when WCW went down, I thought Sting was retiring then. And then he came back with TNA. And then I thought he was retiring again. And then with WWE, I thought he was retired due to the neck injury. And now he's back. So it's always been kind of that, it's a matter of time with me. And they finally pulled the trigger on it. Great Muta retired. We'll see if he comes back. Wouldn't shock me if he does. Because I was waiting for that man to retire since 1998.
Yeah, maybe.
But I really like we mentioned this on the last cast, which is we're doing a quick turnaround because of the releases. But look, I have vastly enjoyed the Darby Allin build with Sting against the Young Bucks. I think it's one of the stronger matches AEW's put on in a long time. They're going to put in 16,000 people into the Greensboro Coliseum. Very fitting. I think it's very fitting. I have no qualms about anything. I saw some social media discussion and podcast discussion with the worst opinions out there, how the Revolution pay-per-view is looking weak, the card's not interesting, and I'm like, Sting's retiring. What more do you need?
Yeah, and we're getting Hangman Swerve Joe.
So I guess we'll just pivot straight away. Or do you want to continue talking about Sting?
Do I have anything else to say about Sting? I guess Sting adjacent is the Young Bucks heel turn and new gimmick and et cetera, which I love. Heel Bucks are the best Bucks. That's, yeah. Everything that they do is intentional. It's
so so I'm watching, what was it, Collision, in which they gave Tony Schiavone the Amazon gift cards.
Gosh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm watching that. I watched Collision on delay, and I'm no shitting you. The very Friday, I'm in a meeting with upper management and everything, and I'm trying to get all these workers to essentially do their job, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is there any way, like, do we have to discipline people? Do we have to suspend them, fine them? And then the ex-GM who got a higher position, he goes, how about this? If they go 4 straight weeks with doing, XYZ, then they'll get Amazon gift cards. Like $20. And my response was, amazing. I don't know, reviews are coming up, and if you don't give them raises, they'll probably throw that back in your face. And then I turn on the Young Bucks, and he's giving Schiavone they're giving Schiavone a $25 gift card as an insult. And I'm like, relatable.
That's the joke, right? So but everything that they do is meant to get under your skin, and the fact that people bitch and complain about the Young Bucks, I'm like, okay, then it's working. I don't. God. How do you not understand that it's intentional? I don't.
Oh, yeah. So the gift card thing, made me just howl in laughter and just think about my own job. And I'm like, man, I would if that was management doing that to me.
But they renamed their moves, right? They now have the EVP trigger and the Tony Khan driver.
Yeah, very, very D-bag type things. And I like how it's tied into the Observer Awards and the grander wrestling scheme that we're all part of this fandom. Anyone who's followed the Young Bucks or know anything about them know the deal. At least they should, and yet every time people fall for it, it's hilarious to me. I very much look forward to the Young Bucks giving Sting a double super kick and pinning him with the Tony Khan driver.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No heel turn needed, no Darby Allin turning. I'm sure Darby Allin will sacrifice himself, and I think the follow-up should be really good with Darby. He should continue feuding with the Young Bucks. I'm not saying he needs a partner of his own, but he can. I think a Nick Jackson singles match follow-up would be pretty cool to do.
Ooh, that would be great.
You know, a little on the fantasy booking side, I admit, but I think those kinds of follow-ups are necessary coming off the Sting retirement. This is the move with Sting losing, and Darby's then story is getting to the main event. Whether that encompasses the international title first or the AEW World title first. I think either or would work for him, as long as he's a featured main singles player after this. Now, you mentioned Swerve Hangman Joe. What'd you think of the Hangman injury angle that they were playing? A lot of people fell for it, myself included. I thought he was legit hurt. I thought his ankle was fucked, and whether he shows up at the pay-per-view or not, I think that brings more intrigue to the match. Now, what I don't like is the fantasy booking side of making it too much about the story with something sinister, like Hangman's in the match to not win the title and instead like lay down or take the muscle buster and smile as Joe pins him. I've seen a lot of theories, heard a lot of theories about some angle. If it involves Hangman purposely losing, that sucks. That's some WCW shit. I do not want that. Which we will, of course, get into kind of bullshittery with WCW later.
Oh, yes.
But that's the kind of stuff I want to avoid. I mean, the world title should be the most important thing. Everybody should want to win it. And what would make Swerve more mad is if Hangman himself wins the title. And then Hangman could gloat and be a douchebag heel.
Yeah, I'm happy with any outcome on Sunday. Like, I don't, it's fine. They're telling me a story, and I like it.
If it was up to you, who's walking out champion? Swerve?
Yeah, but the story is Hangman keeping the belt away from Swerve. So it doesn't matter. I think I could see, here are the two outcomes that I think are most likely. One is Swerve wins by pinning Joe. And that way Hangman can say, but you still didn't beat me clean. You still didn't beat me without interference, et cetera, et cetera. Or somehow, or Joe retains. I don't think Hangman's walking away the winner. If Joe retains, though, I can't decide who he would pin or submit. But if Swerve wins, I think he wins by pinning Joe.
Yeah, sure. It certainly doesn't feel like Samoa Joe should lose the title right now. It's definitely a position where I don't think there's a wrong winner, but I think there could be a wrong loser. And if Hangman's not able to be at the pay-per-view, shoot injury or not, or worked injury or worked story, if it comes down to a Joe Swerve singles match, that does have me worried that it will stunt Swerve's progression into being a true main eventer. I think if we get to that case, there needs to be some sort of... I think there needs to be a pivot that... Because as much as I don't want to see Joe lose the title, I'd much rather see Swerve in that position win and see what he can do.
Yeah, I would love to see it. Speaking of things you love to see, AEW television has been largely pretty darn good since the last time we spoke.
Well, let me ask you this. What have you preferred, Dynamite or Collision?
I think Dynamite mostly. Collision has given us more women's matches, but they're usually like back-to-back, or one's a squash and one's competitive.
It does lean more towards my flavor of wrestling.
Which does?
Collision.
Okay.
However, the women's matches, much like on the last pay-per-view, or last podcast, I apologize, the women's matches have mostly still stunk.
Yeah. At least there's more of them, I guess. I mean, baby steps, but my problem with Collision lately has been they've been very promo heavy and like, I don't know what the word is. They've been relying on tropes, I think, in Collision.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, it's interesting you bring it up. So on the last Collision, we had Danielson Akiyama, which I very much enjoyed. We had...
Oh, that was fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Deeb Lady Frost was fine.
Yeah.
Malachi Black Brian Keith was 10 minutes. It's whatever.
Oh, should have been better. Should have been
Well,
better.
yeah, but look what happens when you don't have a singles match in like 2 years. Um,
Well, he's had singles matches, just not in AEW. Actually, the last singles match I can think of Malachi Black was that Prestige show against Kid Bandit, and that was probably a year ago now.
yeah, so it's at least been a year.
That was the same show as Athena versus
Miyu Yamashita
Miyu
with the DQ finish deal.
with the DQ
No, it wasn't.
finish.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Was it a DQ?
No, it was a Dusty finish.
It was the Dusty finish, right? Yeah. Never revisited.
But wasn't that like a year ago?
God. Yeah. So
I don't know. That's the last Malachi Black singles
let's see.
match
There
I
was
can think of.
Hobbs Guevara in the stunt show match.
Oh, that was fantastic. Oh, that was very,
Guevara's
very
a crazy
good.
Katy kid from Morton Ranch Hood.
That was very, very good.
Let's see. Orange Cassidy Ishii was the week before. Brody King Briscoe. That was good. Yeah, I mean, this is my kind of. Yeah, and then Star Jr. and Finge against BCC. I'm loving this Claudio Moxley tag team and the draw with FTR. Like, in love with it. Like, I went full 3 on that match in particular. That's been my favorite. That's one of my favorite AEW matches this year so far. Is that particular match, and I'm very much looking forward to their pay-per-view rematch. Shocking.
So
yeah.
I was very nervous about the time limit draw when I said that they're relying on tropes, right? I was like, oh no. AEW is going to make the time limit draw what WWE does with like DQ finishes or champions prerogative, and they can, just lose a match or whatever. And I was like, oh no, they're just going to rely on.
That would be way different and unique to AEW. Well, Stardom does it too, but
true. But they saved this one for me with them, continuing to fight all the way backstage and hold me back and build to the pay-per-view. So, yeah.
Are we only going to get one women's match on the pay-per-view, and that's the timeless one with the poor hit rate, as I've been saying on the Twitter?
Well, there's only one other women's belt, and Julia is injured.
Yeah, well, I mean, Athena's available. Throwing that out there. By the way, did you watch Athena versus Nyla Rose tables match?
I did not. I heard good things.
That's probably the best women's match in AEW this year so far.
Okay.
And one of the strong... You know what? That might be the strongest women's match in America so far.
Oh.
And...
Including Joshi talent in America?
Well, they haven't really been here yet. They're coming
I wasn't sure.
soon. Let me check.
I heard Yamashita's coming for 2 months.
Yeah. Well, it's 3 months. Conveniently, right after she is scheduled to defend the title at their biggest show of the year. I wonder what that could mean.
I hate when they do that, but okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I'm looking at my... So I can't include Mexico, because I really enjoyed Tessa Blanchard Zeuxis 2 out of 3 falls. So I would say... What?
She's a garbage person.
But Zeuxis is cool. Right. She's Puerto Rican power, baby.
Yeah, Zeus, yeah.
Anyways, I think that's been the best women's match in North America, is the Zeuxis Blanchard match.
That's fair.
Yeah. Nyla Rose, Athena number 2. That's nothing to slouch at. More or less shows what the hell WWE and AEW has been doing all year so far, but there you go. Okay. AEW, Revolution. I would say let's do an instant reaction, but maybe we can do an instant sort of reaction, like the next day. What do you think?
Maybe. let's see. The show is Sunday. I'm assuming you have work early.
Oh, yeah, 4 a.m.
Monday
Like,
morning.
I'll be dying.
Okay.
I wish
Yeah,
AEW pay-per-views won Saturdays again.
I want matinees. The the all-in pay-per-view and instant reactions was like the best day ever.
All right. New Japan, you ready?
Are we done with AEW? I guess so.
I think so.
Pay-per-view.
I don't got much else to add. Collision. I've liked Collision. I like the Revolution pay-per-view build. I have no issue with majority of the matches. I'm into it. I haven't been.
Wait. Hang on, real quick. I'm just looking at the card, making sure we didn't.
I mean, there's Cassidy Roderick Strong.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm so excited! Holy crap!
Should be a good match.
Okay. That's another one that people are like, oh, Roderick Strong. I'm like, do you forget who Roderick Strong is?
People have because he's been neck brace screamy guy for so long.
Oh my god! So I didn't watch Ring of Honor when Roderick Strong was there. But I was reminded how good he was, or shown how good he was recently, just in the past year or two. He had a singles match in, I think it was either Prestige or Defy versus Kevin Blackwood. And I was just, holy cow.
Oh, I watched that match.
Was the match.
I watched that match.
Did you? Yeah. I think I made you.
Yeah, you did.
I think you got it.
That jungle bird that I just had, that cocktail did not stand a chance. That was delicious. I will be making more of those.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of people eating their words on Monday morning with Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong.
I'll say it again. Strong should win the title, and Cassidy should go up in defeat to the main event.
Yes, agree.
Like,
also,
fuck.
Will Ospreay is All Elite. He's going to be on Dynamite this week. He has a match at the pay-per-view.
That's right. Takeshita Ospreay.
Takeshita. So Ospreay's leaving Callis family, right? And turning face for a while. He's going to be face in AEW.
Probably.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Right?
Dual Observer Award winner Will Ospreay, Wrestler of the Year and Most Outstanding. Well earned.
Yeah.
Well earned. I don't have much issue with a lot of the Observer Awards this year. I spoke briefly about it on the Patreon, covering the...
Okay.
I finally put out the Matches of the Year cast. So, I mean, the only one I really disagree with is the Women's Wrestler of the Year, which I generally disagree with most years.
Are the Observer Awards fan voted, or is it Dave's awards?
It's subscriber voted. But most subscribers don't send in ballots either.
I'm a subscriber. I didn't even know I could vote.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah, usually send them in like at the end of January every year.
Okay. Yeah, didn't know.
And then around this time, everything's tabulated. So, yeah, Rhea Ripley winning Women's Wrestler of the Year. I was like, well, she didn't really wrestle. And then she's a character, but I'm like, okay, so what? I think it was more of it was the result of a poor year in women's wrestling, is what I'll say.
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, just wait.
Whoa.
While we're Ospreay adjacent, did you want to talk about Ospreay Oku?
Oh, yeah, we can do that now. You know what? Let me, I have Will Ospreay's music. I should just play that, shouldn't I?
You have Michael Oku's music?
I don't have Michael Oku's music. I'm a bigger Ospreay.
He's my guy.
No, Ospreay rules.
Mm. Oku's my dude.
I'm playing the music. I do love myself a pina colada. This is Delicious. What?
Gross.
What?
I can't handle. I don't like coconut.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's a different story.
So yeah, I'm not judging. I just don't like coconut, so I cannot even like.
I
The thought
really
of
like
it's
rum.
yeah, I know.
I love rum.
I know
I
you
love
do.
rum. Yeah, you saw
Did
how
you
much I love rum.
Yeah. So did the listeners.
Yeah. Where's the rum? Right here. Woo. Okay.
That was a time.
The Rev Pro show.
Did you watch the whole
I did.
show?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
Me too.
Yeah. Zack Sabre Jr. match was good. The Shingo match was like okay. But the main event is the real talking point.
The main event, okay. I also thought it was a great surprise to see Orange Cassidy show up and defend his belt against 6 other people. That was super fun.
Yeah, good surprise.
And it also meant that when they showed clips of the match on AWTV this week, it meant there was a Richard Holiday appearance on AW finally. So, I mean, obviously he was just the last one in the match, but I don't know what's going on with Richard Holiday, if he's coming to AW or what. AW doesn't need more people. I just want more eyes on Richard Holiday because he's great.
I like Richard Holiday. He's a perfect goof, perfect goon.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like reunite
him. Promo.
Yeah, he's a good promo. Reunite him with MJF. I'd be totally for that.
Same.
Because they worked very well together in MLW when I was watching them over there, and I believe they're both out of Creative Pro.
Yeah. No, Richard Holiday didn't train there, but is an East Coast guy.
Yeah, at the very least, both East Coast guys, and he's the perfect kind of douchebag to go with MJF.
Yeah,
and he could just eat falls for him all day.
I know. I mean, he used to be the AirPod god.
Oh, it's like the douchiest thing in the world, and that's what
douchiest
it's like.
Thing.
This guy.
And he's heel again, by the way. So obviously he had to leave wrestling for a short time, right? Because he had lymphoma and had to battle cancer. But he's in remission. So of course he comes back as a babyface because you don't come back to wrestling from cancer as a heel.
Unless you're in WCW.
And then but he has since already turned back heel again, and he's doing great heel things. Before we dive into the main event, I also just wanted to note that Mustafa Ali versus Robbie X was also very good.
Yes, it's one of the best shows of the year so far. So this Rev Pro show,
it was phenomenal, top to bottom. There were weak spots, but really just it was long. It was really long.
Yeah, it's like a 4-hour show.
Yeah. Yeah, let's dive into the main event. A lot of people's match of the year. Michael Oku defeats Will Ospreay to retain the undisputed British heavyweight title in 47 minutes.
Long match. Good for the story. Had a lot of the same elements that the previous matches had. I like their second match more still.
I agree. I loved this one, and I loved everything that they did with it. The callbacks. The rules of the match were pinfall, submission, or Amira, Michael Oku's valet, girlfriend, all of the above. She could end the match by throwing in the towel. And it starts with Will Ospreay throwing the bloody towel from match number 2 at her. And this is the towel she's going to use. Oh, by the way, so I think we talked about this when we recorded the last episode, that I was going to go back and rewatch.
Yes.
Both.
Did you end up doing that?
Both. I did. So all of those points were fresh in my mind when I watched this main event.
You know what this reminds me of? Just to interrupt you because you did say you went and rewatched it. I used to do that with a lot of New Japan matches, like over the years. Is before a big culminating match or a big moment in a match, I'd end up watching a lot of their previous encounters whether that was Goto's previous trials at the IWGP title and him constantly losing. It's like, maybe this is the one. Foiled again. Or Naito Okada, or Omega Naito, Omega Okada.
Hangman or Omega Hangman. I watched Omega Hangman stuff before, their full match.
So this match had those elements, which it got me to rewatch the second one prior to that one. I didn't rewatch the first one because that one didn't really stick in my mind all that much at the time, anyways. The second one I vividly remember, and I remembered all the beats to it and getting the girlfriend involved, and I really like that. So this is what I think I think this match is something all of modern wrestling could take a step and look at and see how they got there and why, like, our section of the fan base, not the, say, WWE fans that are just there for entrances. Did you watch any of Elimination Chamber or hear about it? Atrocious show.
I mean, I heard about it. I heard about the 55 minutes with no wrestling.
An atrocity. An atrocity.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Do what this did. Do what Oku and Ospreay did, which is they told a 47-minute story in the match, and the ultimate goal is the babyface beats the big, quote-unquote, heel or unstoppable force.
I mean, there was so much to it, right? Oku had never beaten him. Amira gets involved. She took 2 really bad bumps. Or at least made them look bad, like in a good way. She gets involved. There were callbacks to their previous 2 matches. There were tributes to Mad Kurt smattered throughout. It was just the epitome of what you can do to tell a story in the ring.
Is it your match of the year right now?
No, it's up there though, top 3 at least.
It's number 3 for me currently.
I agree that. Well, it's hard though. Maybe it is my top because I care more about Oku and Ospreay than I care about Danielson and ZSJ.
Okay.
So, personal bias included. Maybe it is my top.
Fine. Yeah. You're allowed to have bias.
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember when I was introduced to Michael Oku. Probably, well, I don't remember when I saw his first match, but whenever I bought the last time I bought a Rev Pro month-long subscription was when they did the co-branded New Japan show. And so, I went back...
Copper Box, I think.
While I had it. Yeah, so I went back while my subscription was active, and I watched, a bunch of Ospreay stuff. And then I think maybe I stumbled across Ospreay Oku 1. Then I watched a bunch of Oku stuff. And then he was on the boat. He was on the fucking cruise and won the Oceanic Championship from... Not Cardona. But the fact that I got to see him versus Mike Bailey... I mean, I talked about that right after the cruise. I'm like, that match was unbelievable. He's kind of my guy right now. So,
So for those wondering, I do have it sitting at 3 currently. I still have Zach and Danielson 1, Mayu Shuri 2. Then it's this match we're talking about.
Mayu Shuri. Did I watch that match?
Jan 4 from Stardom, maybe?
Oh. I don't think I did.
No.
If I did, I don't remember. So
and then number 4 is what this one comes over, is the Dorada Templario match from CMLL, which I believe is the first 5-star match in CMLL history.
Wow. Did we even talk about the CMLL AEW?
Yeah, we did in the last cast.
All the crossovers?
Yeah.
We did? Okay. Because there were a couple more matches since then. And now they're lined up to face at Arena Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that on the last cast. Very much looking forward to a lot of that.
Recall.
Okay, New Japan.
Yeah. Michael Oku, Best of the Super Juniors next year.
You mean this year?
Although is he a heavyweight? I don't know.
No, he's not a heavyweight.
He's putting on as much weight as he can.
Yeah. All right, here we go. New Japan. No more dilly-dallying.
Okay, fine.
Okay, Naito is still champion, thank God.
Oh boy.
All right. New beginning, Sapporo. 2 horrible shows.
Holy crap. Remember how last time I was like, I'm so excited for New Beginning in Sapporo because of everything that happened.
Because Osaka was so good, and Wrestle
Beginnings.
Kingdom was good, and the house shows have been pretty okay, and a couple of the builds have been good, and then Ghetto and company and Bushi Road was like, how about Hot Trash and Bullet Club?
What a turd.
Like, that first night in Sapporo, if Elimination Chamber wasn't, like, worse because of just formatting, New
Right.
Japan, New Beginning, and Sapporo Night 1 would be the worst show of the year. Like,
Oof.
let me just run down, the results of this trash fire, okay?
Yep.
I gotta pull it up.
I have it up.
All right, February 23rd. How much did they get to this? 3,200. I don't know. I don't have any context if that's good or bad, but
Yeah. I don't
okay.
know.
Zach Yuji Nagata. That was like fine, well, 2.5-star thing, and then it just goes downhill from there. House of Torture defeats Oleg Boltin, Taguchi, Togi Makabe. That's like a who cares match. Chaos, which is Okada, Ishii, Yo, and Yoshihashi, defeat a random United Empire conglomeration. I think it's everybody except Ospreay, actually. Look at it.
No, it was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
no,
Okada's like
everybody-
farewell in Sapporo. It's like, whatever.
Well, it's everybody except Ospreay and Aussie Open.
Aussie Open, that's who I was forgetting. Yes, thank you.
Oh, also TJP wasn't in it. It was Callum Newman, Francesco Akira, Okada, and
Oh,
Jeff
right,
Cobb.
you are. Okay. Then there's a LIJ Just Fight Guys tag, just prelude for Sonata and Naito, whatever. And the match of the night, Mayu Iwatani defeats Mina Shirakawa in a like 3.5-star special. I went 2 out of 3 on it. It was good.
The match of the night was fine.
Yeah, it was the match of the weekend, in my opinion.
But it was
pretty
incredible.
Just
fine.
Yeah, it was like if this happened in American soil, people would be spitting like 4.25 stars at it because they're like, "Holy shit!"
Maybe.
Look at it.
Maybe. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I thought it was fine too. What was not fine was Sho defeating Despy via count out and winning the title. That fucking sucked every part of it. Then they follow that up with Evil defeating Umino in like a just as bad match. Horrid.
Garbage.
And then Riddle and Tanahashi have like this nothing 9-minute match in which Riddle wins the TV title. So it's like
another garbage human.
Whatever. And then Nick Nemeth defeats David Finlay for the global title. So David Finlay, let's put this together for a second here. Get a load of this.
Well, let's talk. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So nearing the end of last year, we think David Finlay's getting phased out. We're like, okay, they tried, it didn't work, whatever. Then they throw him in to the global 3-way in with Ospreay and Moxley, and Finlay gets the win. So you're like, okay, here's the push again. Then they follow that up with him getting the big win over Ospreay in his last match in the big dog kennel match. And I'm like, okay, they're going all in with Finlay, right? Not going to work because no one like sees him as a top guy, but they're trying someone new. So I get it. So then the former Dolph Ziggler comes in and wins the title immediately from this guy. Now everyone is terrified David Finlay's going to win the New Japan Cup and become a main eventer instead of like this role, which he'd probably be, I guess, better in. or at least I'd prefer him in this role instead of a main event role. Could you imagine? Well, I mean, Naito doesn't have any challengers, so who's it going to be? Tanahashi and Finlay? That's terrifying.
Moxley. It's challenging.
Windy City.
Yeah.
Yeah, in America.
You don't think the title's changing hands in Chicago?
I hope not. Naito has no business losing this title anytime soon.
I agree. And I hope it doesn't happen for New Japan fans. Let me tell you, though, Nick Nemeth, a former Dolph Ziggler, was my first favorite WWE wrestler.
Ooh. Yeah, he was popular at the time.
So, in 2017, no, he wasn't.
17? No. Okay, no. Yeah. I was thinking more of like years before that.
No. I only started watching my first pay-per-view, WWE pay-per-view was SummerSlam 2017. This was like right around the time where he pitched everything and then just started coming out to no music.
Yeah, was that when it led into the Miz match?
This is great. I don't remember all of it, but I loved him. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so yeah. I'm happy for him doing his thing.
So then we turn around for night 2. Let me pull up the card. Loading. Here we go. So in night 2, with Naito in the main event, they got 2,000 more people, so there you go. There's that answer. I mean, there was a slew of singles matches up and down. The two to really, Taichi defeated Shingo, which was pretty good. I like that. Everything else underneath, nothing worth watching, but Hair versus Hair, Yota Tsuji defeats Yuya Uemura. Yeah. I don't know what it is with non-Mexican promotions and the one time Tam Nakano and Julia did it, but people just do, these bookers just don't know what to do with a hair match or how to build them up or make them feel special. It's just their hair's on the line, therefore it must be special, and then no one really cares. They don't make it as emotional or as important as it should be when you're giving up a part of yourself. That's the whole idea behind a hair match. Not to do the goofy WWE thing where it becomes comedy, but in this instance, I was like, okay, we're getting Tsuji and Uemura into a semi-main event position. They're supposed to deliver heavily in this, but the stipulation is so heavy that then it puts a certain level of expectation on the match, which it didn't meet. I'm wondering how New Japan fans, particularly in Japan, felt about this match. Because I was not moved by it by any means. And I think a lot of that has to do with their lack of the stipulation seeming to matter all that much.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah.
As much as it should.
And then Naito defeats Sonata, retains the title. I think Sonata really hurt his arm in the match, and then he kept going, or he came in injured. Not really sure what the story is behind that, but match wasn't all that good. I mean, I'm talking like 3 stars tops. It was pretty much a mess.
Yeah.
And New Japan's followed it up with announcing the New Japan Cup bracket, and it's a real eye-opener, like on paper, seeing the state of this promotion. They have no stars other than a select few, and that's Naito, and people that love the high-end work guys that should be probably treated better, like a Shingo or an Ishii at this point, but it sure seems to me that they're just not going to push these guys. Ishii was never really pushed. Shingo looks like they're done with him. So that really leaves Naito and then a bunch of just mysteries. Are they going to go with Tsuji or Uemura in the cup? Are they going to go with Zack? I think Zack is kind of a top option. But I don't get the inkling that they're really going to go all the way with him. Do you?
No. Oh, what I what would motivate them? I yeah. No.
Because to me, it looks like they're going to lean back in on Tanahashi being at the main event and doing kind of what they did in, what was that, 2019 when he won the G1 and had the match with Omega?
Oh.
Or was that 18? Whichever year that was. Like, that was the last hurrah Tanahashi story and then phasing down. But it looks like it looks like his loss to Riddle means they're going to move him back up into a main event role. Or at least, well, he's the president, so is it his choice?
I want to look at the bracket again. Hang on. Pulling it up.
I mean, Evil's still kicking around. Never champ or not. That's scary.
Jack Perry versus Shota in round 1 is really interesting.
Yeah, they built it up on one of the American shows, Battle in the Valley, I believe.
I know, but the fact that it's happening in round 1, I think, is...
Yeah, so does that mean Umino goes out or Perry goes out? And you're like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, either one losing is weird.
It's weird, and it seems like it. I'll put it this way: if they did that match in like the quarters or semis, like somewhere later in the tournament, I think it would then have more weight, and then I wouldn't be raising an eyebrow at the loser.
Right.
Like if Jack Perry comes in there and loses in round 1. You're like, what's the point? And then if Umino now loses, now you go, well, yeah, he's a loser. Of course. That's all he does. Just like all these other young guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of losers in this New Japan Cup.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff Cobb versus Yota Tsuji in round 1. That's a choice.
Well, here's the other thing, and this drives me nuts.
A couple people have buys in round 1.
Yeah, it's
Sonata,
like
Eagle,
if you've won
ZSJ and Goto.
Yeah, if you've won a New Japan Cup in the past, you got to buy. So that's the story there. Yeah. Well, here's the thing about let's say Yota Tsuji comes into the New Japan Cup and then goes out and gets all the way to the finals or wins it or whatever, right? What drives me nuts about booking like that is you're telling me your choice as the booker and storyteller is to build up this guy by having him lose everything going into the tournament. But in this case, I guess Tsuji has the one definitive win with the hair over Uemura.
Yeah, and then Yu Uemura is facing Shingo in round 1. So I don't understand what's happening there either.
Yeah, I'm very perplexed over where we're heading with the New Japan Cup. I guess in a way I'm morbidly curious to see what the outcomes are and how the matches are going to be. Because I'll also put it this way. Let's say Uemura goes out there and beats Shingo, okay? And the match is like subpar to nothing, and Shingo just eats a fall. Now I'm looking at it just going, so let me get this straight. This guy's not ready for it. You booked him anyways in a match that won't get him like more over than he already was, other than the shock win. And then, is he just going to lose in the next round? How far are you going to take him? I have a lot of curiosity, but I'm very worried of my own thoughts and perspective over how a lot of these wrestlers are going to be. I guess what I'm weirdly saying, it just popped in my head, is I want these guys to come out looking like stars, and I don't feel like any position that they've been put into is going to make them a star. Oh, that IPA hitting hard?
All right, no, it was repeating on me a little bit. Sorry. So I was more focused on not vomiting than your question. I'm sorry.
You're vomiting at the idea of Shingo losing in round 1.
Yeah, well, a little bit. I love Shingo.
Yeah. All right. Enough in New Japan?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Oh boy. That leaves one thing left.
Okay, let me go fill up my beer.
Pour it. I'm going to play the theme. Here we go. Tonight on WCW Monday Night Nitro, March 20th, 2000. It is the new millennium, and today on today's show, Rickee, we got Hulk Hogan, Sid Vicious in the main event against Jeff Jarrett and Scott Steiner of the NWO. We have Sting and Ric Flair for one last time, maybe, kind of, sort of, someday. And then we have the rest of the show.
I feel like at least half of what you said actually happened. Man, all right, let's dive in. I got some thoughts, man.
The day after Uncensored 2000, Sid Vicious has retained the title via whatever the fuck match that was, followed by Hulk Hogan defeating Ric Flair in a strap match in which he pinned him and also touched four corners.
Yeah, okay. We don't need to revisit that. We did enough last time. Okay, I actually thought this opening. So it opens with a promo. It opens with Mean Gene in the ring. He welcomes Sid Vicious to the ring to say, like, okay, what's next for Sid Vicious? You know, who's next, etc., etc. And then Jeff Jarrett interrupts. By the way, I want a Slapnuts t-shirt.
So much fake crowd booing.
I don't care. I want a Slapnuts shirt.
Okay.
I want that Slapnuts shirt. Okay.
No. You want a what was the phrase like a few podcasts ago?
I don't remember.
Slut nuts?
Slut nuts?
You want a slut nut shirt?
All right, slut nuts. By the way, I don't know if you've been following, but Tom Campbell from Cultaholic is petitioning Jeff Jarrett to rename his current AEW faction the Total Nonstop Assholes.
I don't know if that would fly legally.
Anyway, okay. So here's what happens. Jeff Jarrett comes out, and he says, okay, if we have a tag match and I pin you, then I get another shot. If I lose, I will never challenge you for the title again.
Right.
Great. So far, so good. Sid responds by saying, I don't need a partner. I'm Sid Vicious. I don't need a partner. But then Hulk Hogan comes out and says, I'll be your partner. And then Sid drops to his knees and begs Hulk Hogan.
Well, okay. So here's what's all happening here. So Sid says, I don't need a partner, but
Why are you mansplaining this? I just explained exactly what happened. But
you missed a key point. You missed a key point, and that is, but in the spirit of like sportsmanship, I will have a partner, and then Hulk Hogan's music fits. And Sid is giddy. He's bouncing around the ring. He's doing the Hogan pose, big smile on his face. He's getting on his knees like, oh yeah, Hogan, he's here. Woo! It all came across as very, like, over-embellished from Sid Vicious.
Terrible. I actually didn't hate the segment, though. It was coherent.
I thought it all made sense. It's a wager. He wants Jeff Jarrett out of his hair forever. Hogan's the partner that plays into the story that's been going on. Scott Steiner returned to the pay-per-view, so he's back in the match. Everything he says is fucking bleeped and swear out.
Yeah, no, it was good. Well, it was fine. It was coherent in it.
That's about all we can ask for on WCW these days.
Yeah, then there was a backstage promo with Ric Flair and a team package, total package, team package. I don't know. Everything that they do is incoherent.
They're very mad
so
about
I
Vampiro.
just glossed over it. Chavo also had a quick little promo. Oi, Chavo.
Stole Mean Gene's wallet. He did do that.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're about 15 minutes in. There's still no wrestling. Then we get some people in the ring, but Chris Candido had to cut a promo before he beat Lash LaRue to a pulp. Actually, it wasn't that bad. The match was fine. It was 3 minutes, but it was fine. They're okay wrestlers, so it was fine.
No match went over 6 minutes on the show. It's depressing.
Great. But
to be honest, it's probably for the best.
Yeah. So then Stacy Keebler's backstage with whatever tag team she's hanging out with these days. I forget what they're called.
Well, she's putting down Lodi and Lenny Lane, whatever the fuck they're going by this week. And
I don't know what
she goes, I have 2 people I'm going to introduce on Thunder, which is now on Wednesdays.
Interesting. I didn't realize it changed days.
Yeah, on Wednesdays. And she goes, she's bringing in like Los Desperados or some shit, some lucha tag team.
Oh, yeah, she does say something like that. And then we get La Parka versus Finley. La Parka looks cool as fuck, but then he cut a promo in English, and Mark Madden was implying that somebody was doing a voiceover for him.
Well, yes. Weird. So he got on his chair, he has a microphone, and someone's doing a dub for La Parka, like he's from the hood, cutting sick rhymes, yo, and Fit Finley then beats the shit out of him.
Which La Parka is this? I always get confused.
This is the Superstar.
La Parka, LA Park.
Yeah, this is LA Park.
No, who's who?
This is LA Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then, forget what's happening at this point, but I wrote, Mark Madden says, look at Tori Wilson, look at the cleavage. That is an actual quote.
Mark
He's
Madden
not even
is
hiding it anymore.
Yeah, Mark Madden is a horny school kid throughout the show. He's horrible. Horrible.
He literally says, look at the cleavage.
Yes, the cleavage.
Look at her. Look at her cleavage. Look how great her boobs are. No. Look at the cleavage. Yeah.
To be fair, Tori Wilson has great boobs.
I love boobs. But can we talk about the woman that's attached to them, please? And not look at the cleavage?
The cleavage? Yeah.
Okay, JD's laughing because of the face I'm making, presumably.
I, for some reason, I got a picture of like you and Jason in like a I don't know, let's say Buffalo Wild Wings or some shit, and some hot chick goes by, and then you are the one that says, "Hey, Jason, look at the cleavage."
I mean, in the very rare scenario that Jason and I were ever at a Buffalo Wild Wings, that is probably how that would go.
Yeah, so I'm like, that would happen. Hey, look at the cleavage. You see the cleavage?
Look at the cleavage.
Yeah, it has to have the in front of it.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, there's like not even a human attached to it.
Don't worry about the human. It's all about the cleavage. Terrible. So Vampiro's cutting weird promos that are really bad in the back in a boiler room with tons of background noise. It sounds terrible. I'm pretty sure the production on the show has gotten worse. WCW.
Yeah. Then there's a David Flair segment with the wall and the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, wall sucks.
I don't know.
Getting the big push. It's putting people.
Wall sucks.
Yeah.
And I love a fire extinguisher spot. I think I've mentioned it on this show once or twice. That like in any plunder match,
Mm-hmm.
fire extinguisher always pops me. I popped and then it was no sold. And then I was like, the fuck? All right, then we get the Harris brothers versus Billy Kidman and Booker, who won but didn't win the titles.
Right. DQ finished.
Because it was the DQ. It was a DQ. Yeah, and like so many WCW matches, this match was almost okay until the DQ. Terrible stuff. Terrible. There was the Guidos kicked Disco Inferno out of their group.
Yeah, that was enjoyable.
I mean, anytime Disco gets what's coming to him, I'm fine. Then the total package comes out, cuts a promo on how Vampiro is not ready for the big leagues.
Yeah, really burying Mexico. Awesome. Yeah, they had a 5-minute match, interference, Vampiro loses, whatever.
Yep.
All right, let's speed run. Hugh Morris defeats Norman Smiley in a nothing 2-minute match in which Norman Smiley is completely buried. I don't know what the objective here is with Hugh Morris, but I know where it eventually goes.
No, it's not Hugh Morris. It's humorous.
Yeah.
Humorous. Humor.
Got it. Kurt Hennig and Dustin Rhodes were going to have a pretty okay match, but instead it ends with DQ in under 2 minutes. Dustin Rhodes is calling himself the American Nightmare, so more Cody Rhodes can't...
I wrote that down.
Yeah, can't think of an original thing in his life. Kurt Hennig tried to have an AWA match to no avail. Tank Abbott punches the Barbarian with Meng looking on in the back. Don't know what that's really about or why we should care. That was a minute and a half. And then, somewhere in between all this, there is a kayfabe backstage press interview.
Oh, yeah. No, it's from the night before. It was from after...
It was after the night? I thought it was during the show that they were doing that.
They showed it during the show, but they explained that this was the post-pay-per-view press.
I'm not entirely sure that's right.
Challenge flag. I will throw the challenge flag, or you throw the challenge flag. I'm 100%. I wrote it down.
Okay, we'll go with you then.
I literally wrote fake press conference quote from last night, unquote, is literally what I wrote in my notes.
But here's the thing, it was kayfabe, but also like fans were asking questions. It was so weird because
I don't listen.
Because it starts with generic sports question, what's next for Sid Vicious now that you've retained the title? And then Hogan comes out and kind of steals the microphone a little bit from Sid, and they have some hard banter. Then there's another question, and it's like, oh, Hogan, were you worried that you weren't going to beat Ric Flair? And he's like, not with this guy behind my back, brother. And then the last question before it's to Sid, and it's like some stuttering woman. What did you think there's other wrestlers better than you are right now? I'm like, what? And then it cuts. Very weird, very bizarre. Honestly, it felt like a WWE press conference today.
Yeah. It was very, very weird. Holy shit. Sorry, breaking news. Sean Spears has returned NXT.
Oh.
Sure.
I
thought that was really interesting.
Okay.
I don't care. I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I care because I like him. Sorry to do.
Yeah, he's got a job. Good for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I care.
Sting.
Okay, so yeah, and yeah.
Sting, Ric Flair, 5.5 minutes.
Total chaos.
They can't even give these guys 10 minutes in the ring.
Total chaos.
God. Sting wins. And then our main event. Or do you have,
okay, let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the finish. Let's just go straight to the finish.
Of the main event?
Hang on. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
let's talk about the finish of the main event and also how Cage Match categorizes the finish.
Oh,
Okay. So
okay.
the teams were Jeff Jarrett and Scott Steiner
Uh-huh.
versus
Uh-huh. Right.
Hulk Hogan and Sid Vicious.
I'm sorry, who was Jeff Jarrett and Scott Steiner against?
Hulk Hogan and Sid Vicious.
Okay, so what you're saying is Hogan and
Sid Vicious
Vicious,
and Hulk Hogan were on the same team. They were on the same
they're
team.
on the same team. Okay, got it. So Mr.
Yeah.
Vicious and Mr.
Okay.
Hogan
Okay.
were together.
Mr. Vicious, Mr. Hogan, they are on the same team. The, the terms of this match, there was a stipulation to this match. Jeff Jarrett
sure was.
had to win.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Jarrett had to win. Jeff Jarrett had to pin Sid
Right.
to get a title shot.
Correct.
And if Jeff Jarrett loses the match,
Yes.
he never gets to challenge Sid for the title.
Correct.
Somehow, in the chaos of this match, Sid pins Hogan, his own partner.
Uh-huh.
They ring the bell,
Yep.
and Sid, Jeff Jarrett end up holding each other's arms up. Now, Cage Match qualifies this as Hogan and Vicious defeat Jeff Jarrett and Scott Steiner.
Funny, I am on WrestlingData.com, and they have the same result in 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Not true.
So Sid Vicious defeated his own partner, which, I mean, shouldn't have ended the match. I don't know how this plays into the stipulation of the match. Does Jeff Jarrett get to challenge Sid? I don't know, because this shouldn't have been the end of the
I mean, it makes no sense.
What the fuck?
Nothing happens out of it,
What
right?
the fuck? What the fuck?
If anything's telling me anything, is Sting is in line for the title because he's beat Team Package in singles matches.
Sure.
Right? That would make sense to me. Instead, we're left with... So, okay. Here's the story they're trying to tell. Poorly, but they're trying. All throughout the build, with Hogan coming to Mr. Vicious's aid and side, he's slowly stealing the spotlight away from champion Sid Vicious.
Okay, that's fair, because Hogan was literally in every other segment on this whole show.
And then anytime Sid Vicious was in the ring or getting asked questions at the press conference or needing a partner or whatever, here's Hogan. Okay? And people are...
Oh my god! Another AEW parallel. Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep telling me the story.
And all throughout the night, they're reiterating that. Here's Hogan over Sid Vicious. And Mark Madden on commentary is constantly saying Hogan's the glory hog, this and that. Heel commentator. And you're like, okay. The problem is, Sid Vicious is very giddy and all smiles, having no indication that Hogan's in his way. If anything, he's delighted. He's gleed. Right? And then they go to the match. It's very standard 1979 tag match. Just Jeff Jarrett, Steiner, get some heat. Sid tags Hogan in, hot tag. And Hogan's running wild. He's got the hot tag, and the crowd is mostly reacting. Funny signs in the crowd, by the way. Hilarious. So Hogan's doing the hot tag, made for the crowd to react for him. And then Sid's on the ground, and then you hear Mark Madden go, "Look at Sid! Look at those eyes! His demeanor! What's wrong with Sid?" And I'm like, what do you mean, what's wrong with him? Nothing's, happening. He's just getting up, and then he makes a face. Sid Vicious just makes a face out of nowhere, and chokeslams Hogan, and then pins him. And I'm like, hold on. Okay, swerve, bro. Got it. But why? And everything leading up to it was nothing was foretold or hinted at any of this. And oh, by the way, he pinned his own tag team partner. What the fuck is that?
Garbage. It's garbage. It's WCW garbage. What I was going to say about another parallel with AEW, though, was I think it was on Dynamite this past Wednesday. Ric Flair shows up, and he's mad that he's not a bigger part of Sting's farewell match. And all I could think was, everything is not about you.
Yeah, and then he goes to the Young Bucks, and I'm actually okay with that story.
No, the him going to the Young Bucks like that. Well, I'm not okay with any part of Ric Flair being on my television in 2024.
No, he's old as shit and can't do anything. So I'm like, what are we doing exactly?
And he's a trash human. He's a fucking sexual predator, and I don't want him on my television.
Less of those, the better. I agree.
But yeah. So I just thought that was like a bit of a parallel where Hogan's like, me, and Flair was all me.
Yeah.
This week.
So we go off the air, and that's our cliffhanger for next week's Nitro. But they'll probably tell us on Thunder and then just do a recap.
Yeah. This was a terrible episode. Actually, it was okay for a little bit.
I mean, I mostly just thought the episode was really boring with a shit finish.
Yeah. Like, boring is better than bad.
I hate
when it comes to WCW.
Right. I hate how that's right.
When it comes to WCW in 2000, boring is better than bad.
Whew. Well, okay. We're done. My pina colada is done as well.
I still have a little beer left. I'm going to go downstairs and not think about WCW.
No. You got to think about AEW coming up Wednesday and Collision and Revolution. That's way better.
Well, I have a lot coming up. So we have Will Ospreay is going to show up on Dynamite tomorrow. So we're sitting here recording on Tuesday, the 27th. So we're going to see Will Ospreay
going to come
Dynamite.
out on Friday. Most likely.
So Saturday the 2nd is Lucha Libre and Laughs. The card looks great. The biggest thing on the card is a very surprising first time ever singles matchup. Masha Slamovich versus Dark Sheik.
That was the one. I remember you posting about that.
They have never met each other in singles competition. And the fact that it's happening in my little rinky, I say it's little rinky dink, but it's obviously not. It's grown and grown and grown, even since I started talking about it on this podcast. The fact that this match is happening for the first time at Lucha Libre and Laughs and not in GCW or not somewhere else, I think is a testament to this promotion. And I'm very excited about that match. There's some other good stuff happening on that show as well, but that's the big draw. And then Sunday pay-per-view. Big weekend.
Alrighty. Catch you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.